It don't matter. Alright, hey guys. Alright, welcome to the channel. Today we're going to look at the G35, kind of see where we're at, and let you kind of in on some of the things we've been working on. And yeah. And there's Junior. See Junior sneaking around? That's my boy. That guy right there. That's my buddy.
Howdy.
Alright, here we go. Alright, where we're at with that, the G35. We're having an issue with the transmission. It ain't the transmission itself, but, and you've probably seen or heard of it before, the slave cylinder ends up pushing out all the way, overextending. Well, generally what happens is the bolt, or the pivot ball it's called, break off. Well, mine's not broke. Okay, on anything newer than 04, it calls for the short pivot ball. Alright, mine has a short pivot ball, and it's still overextending. And there's nothing wrong with it, it's not broke or anything. Then we put a new clutch up in there in the dark. There's a new clutch and flywheel. Well, it was doing it with the old clutch and flywheel, because I just got this car and we changed the motor and everything. But so we've changed clutch, flywheel. We took some washers and extend the pivot ball, and it seemed like it worked better. So I ordered the longer pivot ball, and that comes out in 03. I don't know why, but it seems like the longer one's gonna work, but it calls for the actual shorter one. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm kind of scratching my head trying to figure out what's going on here, and maybe it'll fix it. I don't know. It's just the arm on the slave cylinder is just traveling too much. It's pushing the internals out of the slave cylinder, and I don't know why. I've been fooling with it, and maybe we'll get it figured out. And yeah, this thing too. What did we do to it? We did we changed the fuel tank. So this one, the fuel tank should be good on it now. We ended up having a leak. The seal was leaking real bad, and it's been up or something where something had happened to it. Not really sure what happened to the Z for the gas tank to be bent, but anyway, if you know, you know. If you don't, then you don't, I guess would be the answer there. But on this thing, we did have some issues with the cats were stopping up, so we I ordered some catalyst test pops for the G, and on the G we had the high flow cats, and we put them on the 350Z. So now we've got that issue remedied, and so this car will be ready to go to the drift track with us as long as I can get that one done. So we've actually had the transmission out 6 times, I think now, and we've done everything from change the slaves, change the masters, changed the clutch, the flywheel, throwout bearings been changed, and so the only 2 things that have not been changed is the pivot ball and the clutch arm. So I got the pivot ball coming, and I have another slave cylinder coming just to try a different brand or somebody else's or off a different year. And this is the CD009, so it should be the short pivot ball, but it's not working. But I did get a short one to replace this one to see if maybe there's an issue with it. And I did get the long one to see if that's gonna remedy it, because it looks like it will. Other than that, I don't know why it's doing it. So we've took everything off, replaced everything, put everything new on it. And from the master to the slave cylinder, even to the clutch kit, it's all been replaced, except for the pivot ball and the clutch arm. And I still don't know why it's overextending. It's like the clutch arm isn't coming back far enough. So when you actually start hitting the clutch, the arm's already so far out, so the distance it travels, the piece of the slave's already extended probably about halfway before you even hit the clutch, so it just pushes it on out. So it's like the arm needs to come back in with the longer pivot ball. That would make that happen. So that's what we're trying to figure out. And that's where we're at with the G35. And this one should be good, I think. I think we're done, I think. And your car, we're gonna work on the e-brake some more. So we're gonna work on the e-brake on the IS300 too once we get it parked for a minute where the Roadrunner keeps the roads hot with it. So we'll get that done, and I think that's about it. And I'll kind of keep you informed once we figure out what's going on with this, what I finally work out, or if I just, I don't know. I'll be honest, this is one of those things I have no clue. Usually if something's going on, you can call a few people, you can talk to a few people, and get on the internet, and the old trusty web will give you that information. Well, all the information says it calls for the short pivot ball. Still doesn't work, and I've changed everything except for replacing the pivot ball, which doesn't look broke, damaged, or anything. It literally is what it's supposed to look like. But I did order a new one just to try it. But we did, one thing that did work is we backed out the short one to, you know, only leave a few threads and put some washers on it, kind of set everything up, and it looks like it's gonna make it better. So I did order the longer pivot ball. I think that'll fix it. I don't know why it'll fix it, because this is the 06, and that's only supposed, the short one's only supposed to be on the 03 350Zs, and maybe the G35s, I don't know, but the CD009 calls for the short one. And I'll show you when they come in what I'm talking about. If you don't know, stay tuned when we do another what's in the box kind of deal. And if that stuff's in the box, I'm gonna make it a point to explain that and to show you if you don't know. And if you do know, feel free to throw some advice my way, because I do not know what it's doing. I don't know. So I don't know how to, I don't know, we'll find out. All right, here we go. All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of What's in the Box. This one kind of runs with the issue I'm having of the G35 rather. I'll open this box and I'll show you what I'm talking about. This one here is from Z1 Motorsports. I bought several things from them. I've had really good luck out of the parts from those guys. So no issues there. Shipping, if this fixes my issue, the shipping was absolutely amazing. And so if this fixes my issue, I'll be able to play a little bit this weekend and get my car drift ready, if you will. So what we got in the G35s and the 350Zs, there are a long and a short pivot ball for the clutch arm, for the clutch system. Okay, so now the early models like the 350Z calls for the long one. And then after 03 goes into 04, they call for the short one. And you can, we'll go ahead, they come with a washer too, but we'll take the washer off so they don't end up falling off. But there's a long one and there is a short one, okay? All right, what's on it's the short one. That's what's on the car. All right, so I went ahead and got the long and the short one because we put some extra washers. We backed the thread way out and we put some extra washers on the short one that's on there, the factory one, and it still acts like the arm isn't coming back forward enough, and the slave cylinder is having to push too far out to actually hit that clutch arm. So it ends up pushing all the guts out of the slave cylinder. And I did opt, instead of using the cheap slave cylinder, I'm going to get one of the upgraded slave cylinders too, or well, one of the, what do you call them, the OEM actual slave cylinder that would come on the G35 or 350Z, a new one. So once I figure this setup out, I will put this on one. I don't want to do it until I figure out what the issue is. I'm going to compare it size-wise and everything to the one that I'm using. It may be that. It may just be that. I really don't know, but I want it to be for certain. So I wanted to order this slave, and I wanted to give myself, these are all the options, and I've changed everything else. We've changed the clutch, the flywheel. So I actually put the factory clutch kit back on this car when I got it, and it worked, no problem. Well, then all of a sudden this slave cylinder, this shaft piece started coming out too far and pushing the guts out of the slave cylinders. Just started randomly doing it. All right, so I researched a little bit, and these are bad about breaking off, either the bolt breaking. So I went ahead and got both because we have a 350Z here too. In case it breaks, it calls for the short one as well. I got the long one because I feel like the long one may be what we need. It may be the fix to this. I really don't know yet.
I'm feeling high.